My name is Alicia, and this is the story of a dream and the long, quiet night that came after it. My dream began in a small town under a vast and heavy sky. It was built from pictures, you see, glossy images of a world that shimmered, tall glass towers that kissed the clouds, streets that flowed like rivers of light, and faces, so many faces, each one wearing a brilliant, perfect smile. Back home, everyone spoke of this place with a single, breathless word: America. The land where dreams are not just dreamed, they are handed to you wrapped in promise. And I, with the whole, fragile heart of a child, believed them. I would sit on our rooftop, the warm night air wrapping around me, and I would stare at the stars, imagining they were the skyline of New York. In my mind, I was already there, walking fast, dressed in a smart coat, holding a paper cup of steaming coffee, belonging. That dream fueled my every breath. I studied English until my eyes burned, long after the rest of my world had gone to sleep. The words became my secret passage, my key. And then the day arrived. The visa, the ticket, the goodbye. I will never forget the feel of my mother's arms, a vice of love and fear, or the dampness of her tears seeping through my shirt. My father pressed a small packet into my hand, his voice thick. "Open this," he said. "Only when you feel lonely." I promised them I would be fine. I promised I would make them proud. I stepped onto that plane, a girl full of light, and when I stepped off, the world exploded into sound and concrete and cold, fresh air. New York was a living beast, breathing steam, roaring with ambition. Through the taxi window, it unfolded a breathtaking, terrifying canyon of steel and glass and impossible lights. My heart hammered against my ribs. "This is it," I whispered to myself. "My new life begins now." And for a while, it was magic. The sheer noise of life was intoxicating. The smells of 100 cuisines, the mosaic of languages, the dizzying freedom of anonymity. That first night, in my little rented room, I pressed my forehead to the cool glass and looked out at the electric galaxy below. I remember thinking, I have found paradise. But paradise, I learned, has a way of showing you its seams. The first crack was money. I knew it would be expensive, but I didn't know it would feel like a constant, gentle suffocation. The rent for my tiny cell, a bed, a table, a sliver of sky, was a number that stole my breath. It was more than my father earned in a month. A simple cup of coffee became a luxury, a bus ticket, a careful calculation. My savings melted like snow in a sudden thaw. So, I found a job. In a small cafe that smelled of old coffee grounds and lemon cleaner. My shift ended when the moon was high, and I would walk home through streets that had turned hollow. My body ached with a deep, new kind of tiredness, my feet throbbed, my back was a knot of pain, and the scent of dish soap clung to my skin like a second shadow. It was on one of these lonely walks that I saw the other face of the dream. A man, curled into a doorway, wrapped in a thin blanket that was more whole than fabric. His eyes met mine, not with anger, but with a weary shame. "Do you have $1?" he asked, his voice a dry leaf on the pavement. "I am hungry." In that moment, the glittering city seemed to tilt. I fumbled for the few coins in my pocket, their cold weight suddenly meaningless. He whispered, "God bless you," and the blessing felt like a weight. After that, I saw them everywhere, the people the dream had forgotten, sleeping on stone, their dreams reduced to the search for the next meal, the next warm spot. The land of plenty had a deep, hidden hunger. And then, the loneliness, a cold, quiet thing that settled in my bones. Back home, loneliness was a stranger. There was always a voice at the door, a shared meal, the warm chaos of connection. Here, surrounded by millions, I felt like a ghost. People moved in swift, determined currents, eyes locked on screens, hearts guarded behind headphones. No one smiled at a stranger. I missed the symphony of home, my mother's voice calling me, the sizzle of spices in oil, my father's quiet laugh. One bitter winter evening, as I watched the endless red and white ribbons of traffic from my window, the truth crashed over me. You can drown in a sea of people. I felt caught between worlds, belonging to neither. In class, my careful, softly spoken thoughts were met with a kind but firm suggestion. You need to be louder, more confident. This is America. I smiled, but inside, a small, quiet part of me wilted. Was confidence only a volume? Then, I got sick. The winter clawed its way into my lungs, and I woke one morning burning and shivering, my body a battlefield. Fear, cold and slick, followed when I learned the cost of a doctor's visit, a number so high it stole the air from my room. So, I retreated. For 3 long days, I lay in the silence of my apartment, living on tea and the weak broth of instant noodles, riding the waves of fever alone. In that helpless solitude, the last glossy sheen of the dream peeled away. America was not magic. It was hard and cold and real. When the fever broke, I went to Central Park. The world was stripped bare, trees sketching bony fingers against a pale sky. I sat on a cold bench, watching life unfold, children chasing laughter, couples sharing silent, comfortable moments. And I finally let myself think of the journey. I had come searching for a perfect life. Instead, I found a human one. I learned that happiness is not a place on a map, it is a light you carry inside you. America taught me brutal, beautiful lessons. It taught me the weight of independence, the dignity of hard work, the sheer endurance required to stand back up. It showed me that wealth and want live on the same block, that dreams are not found, they are forged in the quiet, stubborn hours of work, in the resilience of a spirit that refuses to break. So now, when friends from home ask, their voices bright with that old hope, is America perfect? I tell them the truth. America is not a fairy tale. It is a landscape of towering light and deep, undeniable shadows. The dream is real, but so is the struggle. Come here not for magic, but for the challenge. Come to discover not just a country, but your own strength. Come expecting to work, to ache, to be lonely, and to grow in ways you never imagined. My name is Alicia. I came to America chasing a fantasy. I found a mirror instead, and in it, I saw a young woman, stronger and softer than she knew, learning that the greatest dream of all is not to find a perfect world, but to live bravely, to hope fiercely, and to keep your heart open in an imperfect one. This is my story, and I know, in my bones, it is a story echoed in the heart of every lonely dreamer who has ever stood in a new city, under unfamiliar stars, learning how to build a home within themselves.